Hi, this is Colorful Foresight where we intuitively connect from within. And it's woo woo time where we connect our woo woo into our mundane living. Hello, this is Silvia. Woo woo! This is Silvia from Colorful Foresight. And this is Aley from Heart and Soul Connected. Please subscribe to her and subscribe to me. So this is all for your entertainment purposes only. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk about year 2025. So let's tap in. Let's put our intuition hat on. And it's not just about you listening to us. You tell us what you feel as well.
That's right.
Right. And so year 2025, hey, look up. That's already been happening, right? I mean, especially the past few months with the drones, which is, but we're making this UAP, ETs, Orbs, and so we're going to start with that. We're going to start with, well, we know the drones are happening. It's been happening, but with that interesting where a lot of them was showing up. And there's a lot of theories why that was happening. Hi, Dina. How are you? So what I want to start with is some things in the sky besides drone. We hear about ETs, right? There's a mystery of that. Or there's UAP. But what if they're divine being? So without going, I couldn't really show. Hi, Diane. Without showing the video, because a lot of time you get copyright. And let me just quickly show. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's a screenshot.
Yeah,
and I will, after the live, put the two link in the bottom. But the guy name is Chris Bledsoe. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Bledsoe. If you go on YouTube, there's a lot of things about him. So in this particular two videos, they're under 2 minutes. So if you don't have time to watch, he has so many videos where he's talking about his work. But in 2 minutes, you pretty much get the gist of these two. So in this video, it's called Team Analyze EEG on Chris Bledsoe. You basically, he's able to know when these orbs come on demand. And these scientists, they put this thing on his head to measure his brainwave. So they're fascinated. They're like, okay, he's like, okay. And they come and they measure it. And then in this video, the second one, it's called Team Review Results. They tell him what it's about. And they said that when the orbs come, he's very calm. And this one scientist said, like, if it was me, I would be like so excited. So he said he was able to see, like, so he was basically honoring him like this is real because he'd been told that he's been woo-woo. But what makes him a little different, he's saying that some things in the sky, not necessarily ET, it's divine beings. And if you think about it, sometimes you see orbs. Sometimes you see like a square. It could be from a different dimension. So, Aley, tell me what you were telling me about from years ago, what they said about divine beings.
There's a lot of stories of beings that ran Egypt or show up in the Bible. I know, that's a good one. Bledsoe said so. And a lot of people are wondering if those divine beings were angels, because, there's a lot of people that believe that, I think it was some of the queens and so forth of Egypt had divine abilities and came from somewhere else. So, yeah, it's very fascinating.
Yeah, and what's interesting is, like, last year, the two intuitive I followed, they mentioned there was going to be more, like, there was going to be Mother Mary apparition and there were going to be things in the sky. But what we saw really was drones. And that's another thing. We don't know what it is, why, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to go into it. That's another video. But we're not talking about drones. We're talking about, and we're not even talking about ETs. We're talking about divine being in the sky. But they're still all in the family, the UAP, ET. So, hey, look up. That's going to be for 2025. So if you guys feel anything, share with us live about 2025. Don't ask about why or whatever. Just if you get anything. So we're going to continue to see more of the drones. But there are people, I believe, that are trying to manipulate what it is. But then there's the real thing. But you can never override divine beings. and it's just timing. I know I belong to a spiritual group, and they talk about we're gonna experience the divine being more in the physical, because technically, guys, they're already around us. I mean,
Mhm.
not the one in the
Mhm.
sky, but they're
Mhm.
around us.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
they showed up in 3D. I would poop in my pants. I don't know about you. I don't care if it's Mother Mary, Jesus. I know Dina heard me say that a lot. It takes a
Uh-huh.
while, so we have to
Uh-huh.
used to the idea of it.
Yeah.
But this idea of Chris saying no, it's divine being, which is very interesting to me. And
Yeah.
going with it's been in history about that.
Mhm.
So I thought it'd be a little different spin what we think
Mhm.
going
Mhm.
forward is going to be about besides ET and drones. So all
Yeah.
kind of energetic things that going on in the sky. So
Oh,
not
yeah.
just, we're not talking just politics. We're not even talking about the ET disclosure, which seemed to be happening, but it
Mhm.
hasn't happened yet. But we
Mhm.
know they're already out there, but we're talking
Right.
like in the mainstream. So probably because of what I'm getting is because of we're in the I'm not even an astrologer, but I know we're in now Pluto into Aquarius. It was
Right.
in Pluto and Capricorn for a long time.
Mhm.
So Aquarius, it's about revolution, which what we're seeing, but
Yes.
also the time of our ascension. So that means
Mhm.
things that were already in front of us and around us suddenly going to seem like as if they're showing up more. It's not. It's just
Yeah.
our we're energetically are able to see it. So what do you
Mhm.
feel when you hear that?
Well, I agree with you. I think that, when we come down here and are reincarnated, we have that veil of forgetfulness. And I don't think it's just limited to past lives. I think sometimes we we have to elevate ourselves in our soul in order to be able to see things that may have been always in front of us, but we weren't able to see at the time. So there's
Yeah.
that. I did just read an article about Planet X, and I don't know if you've heard of Planet X, but it's supposed to be a life sustaining planet,
Mm.
and it's bigger than they ever imagined. I mean, it's far away, but so and I know that I've also read where they have these different, I want to say, time jump abilities in space where they can move from one planet to us, let's say, without having to travel years and years. In other words, it's like going through a black hole, but
Mm.
it might be some other type of thing. So, I mean, there's a lot coming out for us. I don't know if you've ever heard of this one either, Sylvia, but recently there was a show about a lady, and I think it was during the 80s or the 90s, and she was saying that she had an experience that was otherworldly, and they levitated this woman out the window of her apartment in New York City, and people on the ground could see somebody up there floating in the air.
Wow.
And I mean, I'm seeing more and more of that being told. And I don't think it came out earlier than that because we weren't ready to
Well, you
hear
know
it.
what? And you speak about that. I've heard
Yeah. Yeah.
in the Himalaya, and I think I saw pictures, but I don't know where. You know how in the Himalaya they have what do you call it? They're like the Buddha type,
Oh, yes.
and
Yes.
there are a picture of them like floating. So
Floating.
they're
Yeah. Mhm.
I it's probably true to that, and I could not that I have proof, but I could believe if you're from light years away that you are able to do
You
this.
could do it. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there was a movie called Celestine Prophecy.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
in the 90s, I believe,
Yeah.
and, they talked about energy. So I
Mm.
don't remember, 'cause it's been a long time, but in one part, this guy was in the woods or something,
Mhm.
and, well, I don't know what it is, but let's say it was, like, the Native American somebody was hiding from this group,
Mhm.
and, but they were able to appear and then not appear, and those
Mhm.
people were not able to see them. So we have it seems like we do have all these abilities that we're unaware, and
We
I
are.
do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and,
Mhm.
they always talk about, like, what comes to mind is, "Hi, Angela, how are you?" Oh, there we go. Angela
Mhm.
would tell you. They have records of Siddha levitating. There you go.
Yeah.
Because it's from that organization her and I belong to. They used to
Yep.
show this, like, and, because we have so many, like, graphics and stuff, if I would, like, I would be like, oh, that's fake. But the people we were with, but it's
Yeah.
something goes along the line that what you're saying.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what was it that Dina was saying? Dina was saying, I'm starting to wonder if we share this reality with other beings, but most people can see them because we all have limited senses, sensory perception. I
Right.
believe it because
Yeah.
with the drone things around the world, now
Uh-huh.
we're shifting from divine being to drone. Some people seeing them come out of the ocean. And we've
Yeah.
heard
Yeah. Yep.
that apparently some ET society live in the ocean.
That's right. That's
So
right.
that's an example of things that are around us. And
Mhm.
apparently in the sky they're able to cloak. So why wouldn't there be other beings we can't see,
That's
but they're
right.
around us?
That's
You know what
right.
I mean? So
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
2025 and on, I don't know if it's 2025 specifically, but it's going to become more and more like that, which makes sense. Could be, I'm sure you heard from some psychics, or I don't, we'll know in a few years, but within 26, 27, supposedly
Yep.
the ET disclosure and yada, yada, yada.
Mhm. Mhm.
Who knows? But that's interesting. But this is a little different because we're talking about, which actually Dan with Angela, the one who told me about Chris Bledsoe, which is
Uh-huh.
what this inspired me about
Sure.
what in the sky is not ET, the orbs, or it's actually divine being.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what would
I like
Mary say?
what Mary said. Yeah.
Okay, wow. I was
I've
once
done
with,
that too. I've
oh
done
yeah,
that. Mhm.
okay, I'll read it. I
All right.
was once with a group and we levitated a table. And it was the moment that I realized that we are more powerful than we know. We are all divine, I think. It's sad that many are told we are sinners.
I had when I was in they called it a table tipping, but that's what it was.
Right.
I was sitting around this table and had our hands over the table. There were about 6 of us, and the table came up, not real far, but enough that you know that you couldn't have done it if you hadn't, And the 2 of the people that were in the group got so spooked by the whole thing that they left right away. They had to go home, and they were going to go look for their Bibles. They were so scared that they had
Yeah.
done something wrong. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? That before we're live, I was telling Aley about a lot of people are doing the dowsing rods, like the political
Mhm.
figures. And I
Yep.
bought one, but it's not something I have to work on it. It's not like the pendulum.
Mhm.
And the relationship, even when you do cards and stuff, it takes relationship to work
Oh,
on.
yeah. It does. Yeah.
So she had one too, but it reminded me of how interesting that thing is able to. The spirit guide will go through that and
It's the
move.
energies. Yeah.
So
It's the energy can come through that.
it goes
Yeah.
with what Mary talking about, what Dina talking about, and
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
see mystical other beings all the time, and they have come into my body for healing others. I just don't see them like sitting in a room with me having breakfast.
I get you. Yeah. You have the insight, Angela. That's what it
Right.
is. You are, yeah, it's within you. But yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I had a dream once that I was levitating. I said, "Look, I can do it." But
Yeah. Yeah.
so we all know this. And we could explain what you mean by see mystically, like intuitively.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Intuitively.
Mhm. Yep. That's right.
And she just
And
replying about those 2 women that you said they were scared.
uh-huh.
They
Uh-huh.
don't understand. I
Yeah.
mean, that
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah,
okay.
they think they've done something wrong and they're going to be damned for the rest of their lives or something, I guess, but that's the way they probably have been thinking.
I mean, you are dealing with energy, but this is different with levitation. It wasn't like
It is.
you were.
Mhm.
It wasn't like working with what do you call that other thing that people say don't mess with it, the Ouija board.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like
Yeah.
you were using the
Mhm.
energy to lift it. See, mystically, when I do healing and meditation, I literally go into another realm, dimension.
Mhm.
So I see everything like a movie or Star Trek episode.
Uh-huh.
Being
That's
interactive
cool.
with me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
video that Angela I did where she we had the avatar we go to, and you could communicate with the avatar through the picture.
Okay.
And think
Mhm.
about it like you have Mother Mary or you have the divine connection. The stronger you are connected with your spirit guide, they become more alive. So
True.
there's a thing that sometime really strong devotee hadn't happened to me, but like in India, they have honey coming out. Now, as much as her and I
We do.
win this, it's still in the back of our mind, like, yeah, right.
Well, they also have gold tears sometimes, and they've tested it, and it's flecks of gold that come
Right.
out of their eyes. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she actually she would put a plum, if I remember, put the video, and the plum with oozing water.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
just really, but and one of her friend had crystals, and all of a sudden there was ashes coming out of the crystal. But she
Wow.
kept trying to look behind it, because as much we are into the woo-woo, it's one thing we got used to feel it and even talk to it, but to show physically,
Yeah.
that's totally different.
It is totally different. Yeah.
So
So
seeing the sky, going back to, hey, look in the sky, it's gonna take a while for us to get used to the idea.
that's very true. That's
That's
very
probably
true.
why we're talking about the topic, because it's not just ETs, it's also
It's
angels.
also other. Yeah, right. Absolutely. And the
That's
ability we
cool.
have. Yeah.
Can you
I
imagine
put the
maybe?
name of the guy in, Sylvia, that I saw with the gold flecks. I don't think he's alive anymore, but his name was Sai Baba, if anyone wants
Oh,
to
yeah,
learn
I
more
know
about.
about him. He had the thing come out of his hand too, like these.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Uh-huh.
gets my mind's eye, but actually feels real in my body. I interact with the beings, and they give physical experience.
That's
Wow,
cool.
we got a lot of people here. Here's Sai Baba for you looking.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I think eternal feelings was freaking out. You kind of do, Dina.
Yeah.
You get this insight. That's what it is. It feels more natural. It's more natural than seeing the
Yeah.
orb.
Once you realize it's good, I mean, it's nothing bad for
Yeah.
a woman. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What'd she
Absolutely.
say? Sai Baba teleported to friends of mine.
Oh, oh, how cool. Yeah.
Clairvoyant to a sense, so that I got to compare other ability to. Do
I
you
get
know,
you.
Dina, that some people even saying they're clairvoyant freak them out? It's like level of us getting comfortable at it. But I think
Right.
it would be cool. I would love to see Mother Mary, but I would freak out.
I understand. Most of us, it's that we think we're crazy, or that we're going crazy, or there's something like that that's happening. And that's why a lot of people shut down and they stop being able to see something, because they're fearful of it. Once they can release that, it's much
So what
easier.
do you think this means? Because we're talking about year 2025 and up.
Mhm.
Look up UAP, ET, or well, for example, how many people go on Cocoa Bananas about drones? There's so many different drones, so many conspiracy theory. One of them I
Mhm.
saw actually that Chris was in, and I really
Mhm.
like that guy's channel, but then he starts saying some of them are bad. Like I was like,
Yeah.
but if you're
The
talking
old
about
fear
something,
tactic. Yeah. The
you know
old
what it is?
fear
He's
tactic.
showing up on many
Uh-huh.
different interviews. So
Yeah.
one time he showed up on Fox, the other time he showed up on History. Once that guy starts throwing that energy about scary,
Yeah.
I changed it. I turned it
I
off.
can't do that either. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Because if that's the case, that will be the case. But these guys are advanced. They're way advanced. They could have done it
Yeah.
already if that's the case.
Yep. And you're
So
right, Mary. A lot of people think it's the devil, or they're possessed, or whatever. And that's what really scares and freaks people out. So yeah, I get it.
well, what's
Yeah.
funny? That video that I was showing earlier, I only showed the picture of it. It
Mhm.
said the Skinwalker Ranch. I don't like watching that because that's like a portal,
Creepy.
all the creepy stuff. But
Mhm.
I don't know why they mixed that up with that particular story about Chris, because his
Yeah.
story is interesting. They're measuring the brain wave and he's seen the orb. But I
Right.
almost didn't look at it because
Because of
being
that
a
title.
divine being, that other
Yeah.
things we don't need to touch.
No,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking that a lot of people are saying, what do they call it? They call it clickbait. That's what it is.
Yeah.
When there's some title that makes you click on to learn about it, and it's got nothing to do with the
But to me,
party.
it's called no hell no bait. But thank God I saw it. It was a really good video. So let's
Uh-huh.
see what Angela said. One thing, Chris, how you say Bledsoe, right?
Yeah.
Reminded me about was how when we are really in low time, the divine being come to us. Oh,
True.
like when
Yep.
a loved one dies, I had divine beings come right after people die. That's
Yep.
nice.
They're there for you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, show woman. I don't want to believe in that. I know there are bad people and there are bad things. I'd
Yeah,
rather not focus
yeah,
on it.
yeah.
No,
I'd rather
no,
focus on,
yeah,
like, I'd rather focus on this idea that we're not the only thing. We're in the middle of this huge universe,
right.
you know. But here's what makes it a little interesting. Versus, a lot of us are studying metaphysical, so we kind of know that there are other things out there, but to
Hmm.
see it is
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
So that's what's gonna make it more funner. Like when we feel it, we see it. I see it in my mind's eye, but that's not like physical. So
right.
to see it, like even though we know about the drone, we know
Uh-huh.
about the ET, the UAP, but
Hmm.
like if I store it for myself, the ship,
Hmm.
which I did once or twice, by the way,
Me
but it's
too.
very rare. It's
Hmm.
still like,
I
you know,
know.
like
Yeah,
looking at a
well,
unicorn, you know.
at least now people are more amenable to saying, yeah, you probably saw something. Because
Right,
in the past, it was like you were crazy. And
right.
that's what stopped a lot of us. The other thing that doesn't scare me because I don't want to be scared, but it worries me is if we did have a ship and we had some alien looking things come down, some of the crazies would be out there shooting at it.
Well, that's probably why they don't. That's probably why they're gonna do a
Maybe.
peekaboo. They're doing the
Yep.
peekaboo now.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
'cause
I agree.
again, it's not showing up in a lot of news, even shows on Fox News and all that. But
Hmm.
I would love to hear more on divine being, you know.
Divine
And
being.
I there was the picture I saw. We saw, I forget what country, it was a Latin country. And it's kind of like if I didn't know her, I would think she made it up. Even though I believe in the woo woo, it's still like there are things that I thought was real, and I found out with the light. It was the light
Yeah.
from the window, you know. But
Hmm.
with Mother Mary's statue, and then went like this. So it's still like cartoon. It's like do 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 do.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
the brain
in my dream show, Jennifer Bowles was out with her friend down a dark road, and
right.
she took a couple of pictures, and they were Mother Mary. And
Cool.
she had been going through, some medical issues and stuff.
Right.
And you could look at it and see it. It was all, it was beautiful. So I wonder if we see it when we believe it and maybe not before then, or
Yeah.
when we need it. So,
Well,
but I
I'll
think
tell
it's
you
probably
one
always
thing.
there. Yeah.
I was having the Mother Mary experience for a while. It was like 2023. So
Hmm.
one time I saw something, and then the next day it was Christmas Eve. You know, I was taking a picture of a Christmas tree of my sister-in-law house. I was like, oh, so pretty. All of a sudden, I'm not thinking about orbs or anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a flash, and then I saw it was like, right? So in my
Ooh.
picture, you see like mother, with Archangel Michael. That's what I was having, the vision. Archangel Michael is known to be like white and blue, light blue.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you see the orb in white and light.
Oh.
Of
Wow.
course, it's in my old phone, and I don't have
Yeah.
the
Okay.
but the point was my mind was playing games, and I had evidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's being a woo-woo person and still having that thought. That's how brainwashed we are.
Well,
Even though
true.
we're open and
Mhm.
everything,
Mhm.
it's we see what's going on in
Am I
society.
really seeing what I think I'm seeing? Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
crazy, but it was like
Mhm.
I can even hear it, you know?
Yep.
And I don't know
Yep.
why it hasn't happened since. I'm like, "Come on," I get my phone. They never do it when you want it. But
I
what's
know
interesting
that. Yeah.
about Chris is
That's true.
when he had people come, and he knows when they're gonna come. That's different. So he said, "Okay, we gotta get going. We gotta get going." There's this one woman sharing that story of her experience, and he's like, "We gotta go. We gotta go. It's gonna happen." And then they saw that orb,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, so
Wow.
he's a little different. So look up on him, and whatever you
Okay.
guys can, the one that Angela gave me, it was 4 hours. I didn't watch 4 hours of it. So
Right,
I got
right.
to see like little clips here and there everywhere. It was
Mhm.
just enough to tell me, Sylvia, look up in the sky, not just
Yeah.
EP, not just
Well,
drones. Those are divine
between
beings.
that and the brightness of whatever it is what drew me up. It wasn't the noise because there's no noise, but it's like your body is saying there's something up there, and the light that's up there brings like I saw when I was looking at a UFO, and it was amazing. But there was no
Wow.
noise. And you know how loud planes are, and this one was very close to me. It wasn't that far away.
When was
So,
that?
God, I was only about 10 or 11 years old. Yeah, yeah. So it would have been 65 or 66. Yeah.
Well, it'll be exciting in 2025.
I know it would be. Yeah.
And then you'll
Though
be like all over it.
yeah, yeah.
You'll be
And
sharing.
because I have seen one and it runs in families, I'm sure that I'll see one again when the time is ready. Yeah, I
Yeah.
really do. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I've given up trying to see it. You know, when it happen, it'll happen.
True. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think many shadow figure people see are alien. It could be. Who knows, Dina? You know,
Do
that's
you
why we're
think
talking about the skinwalker. Those I don't
right?
want to know about. I have no
Yeah.
interest. I'm not that curious about that. I'd rather focus on the benevolent ETs and
Uh-huh.
the divine being and
Right.
good drones. That's it. The other
Do you
stuff,
think we're
you
going to
know,
get a message this year from somebody up there? You think some kind of message will come through or some kind of
well, what
meaningful
I'm getting,
event?
they already are. It's
Uh-huh. Okay.
whoever choose to accept it and listen, because technically
Mm-hmm.
they've been telling us on news here and there, but without putting like a little fear, there are things that try and prevent people believing in that.
Probably. Yeah.
So,
Just like all human beings aren't
no,
perfect.
they just what it is, they create
Yeah.
fake news and then make
Yeah.
people not believe it.
Right.
So they're gonna make it where you experience it more. So if you
Mm-hmm.
experience it more, you could believe it. You don't need to believe it on TV. And I don't think 2025 is the year of ET disclosure, but it's where people are gonna start going, am I making it up? So next
Well,
time you hear about what's in the sky, maybe
yeah.
not ETs, it could be divine beings.
What's really sad, though, is that there are other things that we have seen with our own eyes and
And we probably
experienced with our own self, and we're told that that isn't real. And people are accepting of that. That's a tough one for me. And it doesn't have to be about UFOs. It could be about something else. But it's like, oh, you really didn't see what you thought you saw. Well, then am I crazy? The gaslighting is,
and you know
making
what's
people think.
interesting that you said that.
Mhm.
A friend of mine named XYZ. So she said that she's very confident with her. She does like thousands of reading. So
Uh-huh.
she's one of those like
Sure.
confident in her reading. That she thinks she knows everything? Absolutely not. Those are the ones you want, not the ones like I know everything. They don't. But she said that I know I'm looking at the blue sky, but they're telling me that the color is different than what we think.
Well, that's because it bounces off the ocean and makes that blue hue.
Or something. But she's saying
Something like
like,
that. Yeah.
even though
Yeah.
we're seeing it that
Right.
way,
Right.
so it
Yeah.
goes with what you're saying, like
Mhm.
that we even gaslight ourselves through books, through what we've been
Right.
learning and things like that. It's kind of
Mhm.
like what we see on the news that we're seeing purple, but they're telling us it's yellow, you know.
True. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, pretty
And
interesting.
Angela, I wish that I know this, Sylvia, and I know that a lot of all the rest of us know this, but there are people that don't know it and never will because they don't want to. They're not awake. This is the way I look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yep.
I think it's going to be more of a happening. It's going to be more in the younger generation coming about. But I
Yeah.
always thought it's going to be down the line, but it's going to happen in our lifetime.
I think so. I really
It,
do.
like,
Hmm.
and I mean, I don't know until it happens.
Hmm.
But apparently, next few years, and if the ETs are coming, it's not just because it's also to protect us. So there's a lot of
Right.
craziness that's going on. So they're gonna be like our angel, whether it's Mother
That's
Mary
right.
or it's
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
big ant thing. I don't know. That look like an ant. I think they're gonna do
It's
it.
funny.
That's probably why they're hybrid, so they don't scare the crap out of us.
That's probably why,
know.
and they can also change some of their look, I would think, to make us feel more comfortable. I
Yeah,
really
there's
do
some people
think
who
so.
remember the past lives as
Yeah.
in the other world, but as a light being, not even a figure.
Right.
Some of them were a crystal. I mean, that's the idea.
Mhm.
You were a crystal on another planet, or you
Right.
were, there's so many things. So
That's very true.
What do you
That's
feel
very,
about 2025? Besides listening to Allie and I, what do you feel is going to happen?
yeah,
Are you
yeah. Let
getting
us
any
know.
inkling? What about you? What are you getting, Allie? I
I
already
pulled
told
a
you that
card.
I
I
feel
pulled chaos. I pulled chaos. This is what we're living in right now. It's a lot of
yeah.
chaos. But I do see upward movement in the
Yay.
direction of and so I'm good. And when I was reading this, I was thinking about, up there,
Right,
in that realm, not in this
right,
realm necessarily.
right.
And I think they're going to bring us good luck because they are sick of this. They're like, why does it take you people so many times to have a lesson to learn that you don't want to do that anymore? And,
Exactly.
your veil of forgetfulness is not supposed to be taking place in real time. It's supposed to have been from when you were living before. And I know they're frustrated. I feel like they're frustrated with us. They think
Well, you
we're
know what's
really
funny?
stupid.
I'll talk to them. I'll be like, listen, we're dense in head. Don't try and make us understand. How many society that came and went? Even the Lantian didn't get in. They were way advanced. Just help us, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah.
Stephen. Well, you
Oh.
know what's funny that you got the dragon? I got the evil eye, which I
Oh,
think is
look at
great.
that.
And then
Yeah.
what's next to it?
Oh.
Abundant.
Yep.
And what's
Yep.
another card? Let's pick another one.
Yeah.
Initiation. They're gonna
Oh,
start talking
wow.
about. I
Yes.
think that
Yes.
protection. A lot of them.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I think there's a
yeah.
lot of similarity in that. Yeah,
So
there
I
is.
tell them, please come in a nice way. Just tell us. We're not gonna get it. I know they talk about free will. I'm like, please just educate us. Give us
Oh,
grace and mercy. Uh,
yeah. Yeah.
and so I'm glad you got those cards because it validates.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like frustrated, try and
Yeah.
get us, giving us
And,
hint.
and I think our galactic guides, our personal guides for people who are open-minded and ready to accept this are no problem. They're not mad at us. They're
Right.
just like, collectively, you people are so stupid. You're in the Stone Age,
Well, you always hear about like how we're the experiment. If you go with scientists, they have a
Yeah.
theory about simutation. It's like kind of the matrix thing with computers and
Uh-huh.
all. I'm
Uh-huh.
like,
Yeah.
whatever the thing is, I'm like, just but again, sharing the news with Angela and I, who are into the woo-woo, we feel our divine, we talk to our divine, but to
Mhm.
see it mystically appear is still, we got to experience our mind playing tricks. And we had to go, you know how mind is. I know you're
Mhm.
trying to show me an actual physical experience, but my mind, so it made me realize that if I'm experiencing that, can you imagine? Like
Mhm. Mhm.
so get ready, let's get into it.
Yeah,
But I don't know
absolutely.
why, but the one on the sky, are they really the angels? I don't know. Or
Yeah, I don't know. It does feel very Atlantean, Amanda. Yeah, it does. It does. I'd like to think that those
I get
beings.
honeybee. It's
Oh,
good.
community.
Kind of like
Oh,
community. To me, it's
uh-huh.
like they're part of us. So
Yep. Yep.
we're all helping each other kind of thing.
Mhm. Yep.
Um,
Definitely. Definitely.
what you were saying, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Um, I think, like people, like there's people that aren't good, and there are things that aren't good, like we mentioned with skinwalkers and things like that. And then there are really good beings. And I think that um, they have been around forever because they were here to help us during different time periods in our lives. And that there's so many people that have seen Our Lady of Fatima and other Mother Mary apparitions and so on and so forth. And even those of us who are not necessarily follow the Christian religion, Yeshua has Yeshua, Mother Mary, those other people, they come through because they're enlightened beings. And so they're here to guide us. They are.
And here's what's interesting. There's this process we do, and the Hindu culture, they have thousands of divine beings,
They do.
and so every day they have an intention, and then they have their divine being. And what's interesting is they're all divine, but I got to realize how the image were attached to the image. Because when I would see the strange looking God or divine, it's not like if I'm familiar with Buddha, even though I'm not in the Buddha thing, I'm familiar with Ganesh.
Right.
We're more familiar with Kuan Yin, which is not Hindu, but there's certain
Right.
other divine beings from all culture. I noticed I'll be like, oh, cool. But once you get these other divine being, my mind kicked in, go, what are they? Who are they about? Whatever. But if I would really close my eyes and feel their energy, but it made me realize how programmed I get. Again, I was, because that's why sometimes we don't know who our spirit guides or all that, because it may be beyond what we're familiar with. It may be beyond not our ancestors, maybe beyond who we think Mother Mary, Jesus are, like other things. So yeah, it's pretty important. That's why, like, look up in the sky, they're gonna introduce us. They're gonna continue to do that. And
while we're talking about the sky, I have a question for you about the lady that's up at the space station. She was shot up into the air with another man, and then something happened and they had to go stay at the space station, and they said she wouldn't be able to get back home until April. I think this was like in September or October. And people are saying now that she is not well. She is not. I don't know if you've known anything about this or not. But
no, I said that had her plan. It would take a year or something.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I don't think she's that. No, she didn't. They said that when they left, they didn't even take stuff with them for a few days, because they thought they'd be home. And it's just, the whole thing is odd to me. It's very, very odd that they can't send somebody up there to bring those people back home. I just wonder what you thought about it. That's all.
No, they can. It's just that's going to take a year to do it.
Yeah, but shouldn't. That's my point.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, Mary's got a good idea here. She thinks that these divine beings or these ETs are different levels with color and sound, like different levels of I like that idea.
There's many dimensions. So within those dimensions are, so many other things we're not even aware of. Light beam, who knows? Like I said, like somebody had a past life that he was the ET, but no form. No form, just light. Also at the crystal, as a plant. So, it's just so many things we're not aware of. I'm just tapping in, because I'm the type that, remember, I consider myself like you guys, just tuning and connecting from within. I've been with Aley enough to know when we get insight, it comes like this. So when I have to struggle, that means I have to let it go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hear you. Yeah.
And sometimes I wonder if they block it, because there are people who knows how to work energy. Like, for example, politically, which we won't go into. Trust me, Dina, don't worry. But there are reasons why certain things are not seen. I don't see nothing, actually. Pretty funny. What do you get? I'm getting nothing.
Nothing with the lady up there? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. What do you get?
I just feel like there's something going on, that she's not well, and they're just putting her off for some reason. And she was part of I don't think it was Elon Musk's group. I think it was the other guy. I'm not sure. It wasn't NASA. So I don't think they usually put people in their 60s up in space.
Well, maybe because she was skilled.
I'm not saying she couldn't go.
Resistant, so
or she may have been persistent about wanting to go. Yeah. Okay.
Intuition. Yeah. Any of you getting anything?
I get 3 people. It's like a third. I get outside interference and external factors are happening
The only thing I'm getting is maybe they don't want to admit that it's detached, that they don't,
right.
that
They don't want to admit there's a problem. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that may be what it is. It may be a failed thing.
Might be. Very well. Yeah. Might be.
Well, we can pray that they do come back.
Yeah. I hope for her health, I think it's important because I know when you're in space, I think it's your spine or it's some part of your body that happened to the senator Mark from Arizona. He and his brother were twins. One of them stayed here and one of them went up in space. And when they tested them afterwards, the one that stayed here was same, of course. And then the one in space had like an inch shorter or something like that.
It makes sense because if I remember correctly from watching like other astronauts, when they land here, first of all, they smell because I guess you can only watch so much, but it takes them a while. They come, they have no
the equilibrium. Yeah.
So it takes a while for them to. They're like
dizzy. They're very dizzy.
How heavy you must feel when you get over here. Yeah, the only thing I got is maybe they just keeping us on hope versus admitting like it may not work.
Yeah.
But I was happy to hear because at first I heard it. I did hear that was like a lost cause. And then now it's like, oh, we have a plan where they'll be back in a year.
Oh, wow.
And you're like,
Mark Kelly. Thanks, Mary.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Space density. Space affects bone density. I knew it was something like that, Dina. Thank you. Yeah. Yep. And yes, Diane, we don't have physicality in the higher dimensions. We are pieces of light, or we are an orb, or we are a plant, those kinds of things. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Why do you think we don't know? Like, why do you think we're not hearing it? Maybe it's a simple answer that they don't know themselves, and that's the answer.
Well, they keep showing her, and they keep showing her picture, and she doesn't look well. And so the news is, I mean, I don't watch the news normally, but I have seen her. She looks very gaunt. She doesn't look like she should be there. And I think she's ready to come. She's complaining now and she wants to come home. So
can you imagine? They're like, we're going to come in a year.
Sorry, you're stuck out here. It's be like, sorry, you're in the Mojave Desert, but you have to stay there for a year. We can't come get you. Come on.
You know what? Actually, that's a great conversation because we have how many people are going to watch this? Hopefully 10 is great or 100. Pray for her. Pray that it works out.
Yeah.
See her like they figured out.
See her home sitting in her chair with her cat. Yeah.
There's certain things are pre-designed, but what we're experiencing a lot lately is intuitive, not knowing.
Right.
Like what happened is, first of all, not like 20 years ago when energy was slower. So the idea of predicting it a little bit easier. But now with things are growing and moving so fast.
Moving fast, yeah.
And consciousness growing. It's literally moment by moment. What's her name, Angela? Want to ask. Can you Google it?
I don't know.
But it's like, I know, I've heard of it. They said another year.
They said that long? Really?
I mean, I don't know when I read it, so maybe then.
Astronaut in space. She's like in charge they put her in charge of the space station. No, that isn't her. Jeez, I don't know. Where is her name? Woman astronauts. There's her face. All right, but Sunita Williams is her name. Yeah. Sunita.
Angela, just for you guys to know, I don't think she minds because she shared the story many times. There's certain things on design we can't, if some parents are declining and stuff, then they may go. She does believe in healing, but she at one point she was on her last rite.
Wow.
And she had an illness, and my spirit guide was telling me, your job, stop, because I was like pissed off. I'm like, why? She's only I was like pissed. And my divine was telling me, stop. your job to see her healthy
Right.
and see her with her spouse. I mean, she's on, last flight.
Yeah.
She's gonna go. She had
Right.
a
But you
man.
have to stay positive that she's
She's
going to be
pretty much
okay.
doing.
Yeah.
She had a man
Uh-huh.
who
Yeah.
was in France at the time, went to Australia to
Mhm.
make sure, say goodbye to her. And
Uh-huh.
so I'm like, am I wishful thinking? Because, sometimes we're wishful thinking. And she said that she had other people tell her the same. They had the same similar experience, what
Oh, okay.
told me. And they told her
Mhm.
it was not her time because she's like, to take me. So
Sure.
she believes in that. So this idea
Yeah.
about let's pray,
Yeah.
because this part of me like
Yeah.
the
Uh-huh.
woman's doomed, she's in the sky, it's not gonna happen, blah, blah, blah. And then I have the other side of me like, oh, it could work, let's pray. We
Yeah.
have all different sides.
Sure, I know. Yeah.
So
We don't
she
want to cause
reminded
any
me
damage. We have to
it's
say most beneficial outcome. That's what we have to say. Yeah. Yeah.
so
There you go.
let's go for it.
Uh-huh.
And I do believe it's about the collective, right? We could manifest
Mhm.
as one person, but we can't really manifest as the collective. So we need that collective.
Yeah.
Thanks. Sonita William, for you who are watching, this is her name. There
Mhm.
you go.
Yeah. She's up in
That
the
we're
space
talking about.
station. Mhm.
So, anything else before we wrap it up about? Hey, look up UAP ET Orb. You feeling anything?
It's interesting because there was a movie on at the
I know.
it's
Yes.
called
Yes.
Don't Look Up. Did you see
Yes.
that movie?
Right.
And what I liked about it, it was
And we're not
kind of
going with that storyline.
apocalyptic. Yeah, but it did. Remember when in the movie the ship came in and kept going and going and going, and that reminds me of what is seen and what is not seen. That just kind of
Oh,
reminds me of that. It's like, if you've got something blatantly right in front of you, don't deny that it's not done any harm.
right.
But at the same time, you don't want to welcome it because nobody wants that, you know.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
yeah, it's just I'm hoping that those of us who will turn off the television and sign out of all social media on next Monday, and that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, I'm not watching
No,
it Monday.
no, yeah, tune
Yeah.
out. But
Yeah.
they're
I'm gonna
saying
watch
to sign out of
funny
all media.
movies.
Yep, get out of Facebook, get out of everything, just for the day at least,
Yeah.
and boycott. And I'm not going to say any more about that particular thing, but
For those of you
it's great.
American, you would know what's going on the 20th.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay. Well, let's see.
Yeah.
Wait. So, the divine being wants us to practice the power of focusing on the most benevolent outcome,
Yep,
as Tom T. Moore
absolutely.
would say,
Mhm,
highest outcome we desire, and that
mhm.
including what's going on Monday. I agree. I
Right.
think the collective and with the world, and some part of the world with women so repressed, has still a long road to enlightenment, like waiting for the world to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's still better than it was, even though it seems like we're going. But not everywhere that's happening.
If you
But
want a good idea, if you get it on Netflix, is the 6888 6888, and it's about a women's Army Corps group of African American women during World War II and what they did um, in service for others. They were fabulous, but they were called names. They were treated poorly because they were women and they were African American. But it's very good, and it
oh,
makes you feel good at the end. It
they're
does.
very intelligent. They were engineers. It's
Yeah.
funny because sometime on Instagram and stuff, they'll show history stuff like
Uh-huh.
all you know, women
Hmm.
and the stuff that they discovered. And you're like, wow, I
Yeah.
didn't learn that in school. And then you have what I'm even really more impressed because they were extra suppressed, all the Black people, what they discovered. And I'm like, whoa, just so much that we don't know, which kind of goes
Right.
with
Right.
divine being. How much is around us that we don't even know?
Yep. Yep. That's
Hi,
right.
Marlene. Nice to see you.
Yeah, I'm glad you saw it, Eileen. Yeah, the 6888. Kerry
I'm,
Washington is in it,
I'm
if you
gonna
know
watch
who
that.
she is. Yeah, it's very
Um,
good. Mhm.
oh, and that's true. I think if I'm correct, is that the one where she couldn't use the bathroom, so she had to go all the way on the other
No,
side?
that was a
That's
NASA
another
lady.
movie.
That was a NASA lady. Yeah,
Okay,
this one's more World War II. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, because she
mhm.
she couldn't use the
Yes,
bathroom. So in order for her to use the bathroom, she had to go all the way on the other side of the building. So
that's right.
finally, I don't know if it's her boss or something. She's like, I gotta go. So they made a bathroom for her. But why did it take so long? It's just
Yeah,
so
I know.
crazy.
Well, because you had to have separate bathrooms at that time for white or black. That's why. It wasn't even a woman-man thing at that point, which
It
is
was,
really sad.
that's what it was with black. I get mixed up because I see so many different things. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
It
like
was
crazy.
terrible. It was horrible. Yeah, it really was. I've
I
seen it
just went
myself.
outside and squatted,
I
forget it.
know. Yeah,
But
I hear
so
you.
this kind of goes with, it sounds like we're talking random, but this goes with things that are already around us. Just like all the people
Yeah.
that discover stuff we don't even know
Mhm.
about, not in
That's
history
right.
books.
We don't dig in enough.
Anything with,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
divine being there. We know, we hear, us woo-woo people hear about ET, go in the ocean, they go in the mountain, they're in the sky, they're getting cloaked. You ever see a big cloud? They might be
Uh-huh.
underneath the
Yep,
cloud.
that's right.
Now we
Yeah.
have orbs, and the orbs may be
Uh-huh.
Mother Mary. You don't know what's out there, or maybe from Galaxy P. It's
Mhm.
might
Mhm.
be number 2, 4, 5, 6. We don't know. So, and consider that idea that it could be other things besides drone and
Mhm.
ET. So that's all I have to say. It'll be interesting of 2025. So besides the serious stuff that's happening, we also have this. So
Yeah, yeah.
thank you for coming on, Aley.
Mhm.
We're gonna
You're welcome.
collab again the end of January with Sherry H,
Yep.
and we'll think of a topic then. It might be something some of you don't want to watch because we do talk about politics, but maybe it'll
Um,
be other things too. So who knows? So
we
take
don't
care.
know what will happen in a couple of days. We have
Oh,
no idea.
I
Every day.
know. I know. So take care, everybody. Thank
Right.
you for
All
coming
right.
up.
Thanks everyone in
Diane,
the chat. Bye-bye.
that's the name of the movie that Ali was talking about on Netflix. Okay, let me end it.
All right.